So this week's a little bit of a different type of episode. It's kind of an emotional episode for me. This week, I actually lost a dear friend of mine, Laura Holdcroft, also known as Laura Kramer, married name. So this episode is definitely dedicated to Laura. She was my roommate when I was studying, and I was her actually maid of honor. And she was just literally the most beautiful person I've ever met in the world, inside and out. And as I was thinking about her, and I really regretted not seeing her more often. We text and communicate, but I just wish I truly got to see her a bit more often. And it got me thinking a little bit about how much I appreciated all the things that she had taught me and brought into my life. You know, the laughter, the amazing chats, the advice, and just honestly, free from being judged. Just being ourselves and just having a great time. And it really got me thinking about others in my life. What was I grateful for? And true to the consulting style that I am, it led me to do some research. You know, I can't help it. I love to do research to understand things a little bit more. So I started off with trying to understand what the definition of gratitude really was. So there are so many different definitions out there, but there was this one that kind of really resonated with me. And it's from the Harvard Medical School that had this amazing definition. A thankful appreciation for what an individual receives, whether tangible or intangible. With gratitude, people acknowledge the goodness in their lives. As a result, gratitude also helps people connect to something larger than themselves as individuals, whether to other people, nature, or even a higher power. Now, there are so many definitions, and I'm going to put the links to these different websites that I had seen out there so you can see the different definitions out there. But there was a really interesting study out there that they did, and they were talking about there's actually 2 stages of gratitude, according to Dr. Robert Emmons. The first one was acknowledgement of the goodness in one's life. That when we're grateful for something, we're actually saying yes to life. I thought that was really powerful and inspirational. And the second stage is that some of these sources of this goodness is coming from outside ourselves. It's things that we appreciate from others. They could be people, they could be animals, it could be nature, it could be whatever it is, but it's not coming from us. It's coming from outside of us. And I thought that was really wonderful and a nice way to kind of understand the art of recognizing and being grateful for something. It's that this recognition that we're doing and being grateful is being done unconditionally. And it's not being prompted by something. It's not a return of a favor. It is actually something that we're just really value and we really appreciate those things. So I'm going to put the links into the show notes so you can really see this really great article from Positive Psychology Program. And it's really wonderful. Then I started to kind of wonder a little bit about the benefits of being grateful. I mean, I had done an episode before about vulnerability, so we understood what that was about. But here was one about the, understanding the benefits of being grateful. And I thought this was kind of really interesting. Have always been hearing and seeing people talk about their gratitude journals for years, but I didn't really think much of them until really today. So Robert Emmons and some others did a big study about gratitude, and there was a lot of interesting findings. So I thought I'd share them with you. The first one was an improved well-being. Being grateful made people more agreeable, more open, and less neurotic. I think we can all say people might need a little bit more of this so we can be a bit more open and agreeable. Another benefit was about relationships. It found that, when you're grateful for things and actually practice this, you tend to be more forgiving and you forgave others more often and you were less narcissistic. And being that narcissism is growing, I think that's something that we should definitely take a look at. The third benefit that I thought was an interesting one was the optimism and happiness. Increased optimism, which kind of makes sense because we've also learned that gratitude means that we're saying yes to life, right? So there was also this other really cool little article that I was reading. And again, I'll put it in the show notes. It was from this wanderlustworker.com, and they put 7 crucial reasons why gratitude can change your life. And I really, really loved this one because he also talks about how gratitude actually helps you reduce your inner fears. I know, right? I just totally love that one. It actually talks about it's really hard to be fearful and grateful at the same time. And I guess it kind of makes sense because we're more optimistic about the future. We're both much more open. And yes, there are worst case scenarios, but we're thinking about how to mitigate them a little bit because it's not the end of the world. We've got something in sight that we can feel and touch and smell. So I thought this was a really beautiful, beautiful benefit. The one that actually really, truly surprised me, the biggest one, was number 4, was about the stronger self-control. Now, it really was kind of surprising to me, and I had to really digest this one. So I'm just going to read what it says in this article, and then we'll talk a little bit more about it. It says that self-control helps us to be more disciplined and focused, and to persist with what is subjectively the most important for our long-term well-being. And a study by Destano and many others in 2014 found that self-control significantly increased when subjects chose gratitude over happiness and feeling neutral. In fact, one of the actual study's authors, Professor Yi Li, actually said that showing that emotion can foster self-control and discovering a way to reduce impatience with a simple gratitude exercise opens up tremendous possibilities for reducing a wide range of societal ills, from impulse buying and insufficiently saving to obesity and smoking. I know, right? It's kind of super heavy. I totally get it. Like I said, I had to digest this one for a while and kind of to try to reconcile it in my mind. I guess if we're always thinking about the coulda, shoulda, woulda, and thinking about the regrets, and we wish that this had happened and all those things, we tend to be looking a little bit backwards. But if we started to look more in the moment and appreciating all the gifts that are truly around us that are helping us become a better person or a better version of ourselves, we tend to be looking more to the future and about our future self and our vision and our goals. And we're starting to understand how what's happening today is actually going to help us with tomorrow. So what I learned when I was doing this research was that gratitude will give us, a better overall, better life. And it makes sense. We are in the moment. We're not looking back. We see all the different elements and that we appreciate, and we're thankful for it and grateful for these things. It would actually make life a little bit more sweeter. By the way, just to let you know, this article also mentioned a study that was done by McCarty and colleagues back in 1998 that actually stated that there was a 23% reduction in the stress hormone cortisol. Pretty impressive, right? 23% reduction in stress. I think that's another huge thing because, as we know, we're all more tapped out. We're doing more stuff out there. We are trying to juggle with multiple demands in life. And so we have a lot more stress, whether we are doing it internally or externally, but there is a lot more stress. So being in the moment and being grateful, we end up having better lives, stronger self-control, lower levels of stress, and so much more. I'm in. I'm totally in. I am definitely really grateful for a lot of things. And I've definitely drank this Kool-Aid because I am really kind of shocked that I hadn't actually paid attention to a little bit more of this. So being that I'm very practical and tactical, I had to start thinking about where do we start. So when I was doing some research and thinking about a good process about it, I thought the first step should be listing all the people in your life that you appreciate. Now, this can be your mom, your dad, your brother, your sister, your kids, your nieces, nephews, friends, your colleagues. There's so many people that are in our lives that help us with things that we may not recognize it anymore because we're so used to seeing it. And let's not forget about all those mentors or those people that inspire you, even your boss, colleagues that are just doing a little bit more to help you make things a little bit easier in your life. Take a moment and write all those people down. And number 2, on that list that you've written, has there been someone that has done something that you truly appreciate, but you may not have thanked them? That is a great one. And if you just stop and think about it, the next step would be is that what exactly are you appreciating? What did they do? What was it that you really valued? the benefits, write it down. The fourth step is send them a note or even a letter. Who even gets thank you cards or letters anymore? I mean, every time we open a post box, I expect bills or flyers. So what a double surprise to provide, a nice handwritten letter, just to not doing it just because you're thinking of them, just to say thank you. So to my Can Innovate podcast listeners, I have to say that I am really thankful that you guys invest the time to hear me each week. I'm always so grateful about that. I actually often think that when I'm doing these episodes, I'm actually just talking to myself, like a little girl that's pretending to hold an Oscar award and giving that thank you speech, or pretending to do a cooking show where I'm telling you what all the ingredients to put in. But I never actually think about who's actually listening. So I'm always so grateful when I get an email or review that told me something that resonated with you, or how you were able to take part of something that's a little bit different, or you challenge yourself a little bit. Those messages mean the world to me. In fact, I actually have a special little place that I put them in. I actually paste them into kind of like a little book that reminds me all the time that I invest in this, that, I do because I actually love doing it, but I can't believe that there's so many that out there that are getting things. So those emails and messages that I get are the most precious gift. So I truly, truly thank you for that. So my dear friend Laura, I was honestly so grateful to have you in my life. You really taught me how to be level-headed and funny at the same time. Laura used to work at Sick Kids Hospital in the infectious disease division. I could never reconcile in my mind, one, working with kids, and then the infectious diseases, that there were so many things that you see. And, it really helped me at work. Every time I struggled with a problem at work or a problem in life, and I thought it was the end of the world. And, we've all been there, right? We've all had those things, whether they're breakups or whatever it is. Those moments, and that what you gave me was such a huge perspective, a real perspective, because what you were doing, working with the kids at Sick Kids Hospital in the infectious diseases department, really always reminded me that, things could be worse. And I can fix problems at work. I can't fix health issues. I can't figure out, but everything else is fixable. So Laura, you really saw different dimensions of life, the good, the sad, and the miracles. And I thank you so much for sharing those things with me. In fact, since Laura's passed away, I've had the Golden Girls theme song stuck in my head for the past few days. For those that don't know, it's about 4 women that lived together when they were much more older, and they have so many adventures, but their theme song is quite remarkable, and I think it really sums up a lot about how I feel about Laura. So I thought I'd close with the song. I'm not going to sing, don't worry, I promise I will not sing. But the words are, thank you for being a friend. Travel down the road and back again. Your heart is true. You're a pal and a confidant. And if you threw a party and invited everyone you knew, you would see that the biggest gift would be from me. And the card attached would say, thank you for being a friend. So till next week, innovators, I can't wait to share the next episode with you. But in the meantime, take a step and take a moment and pause about your life and think about all the things that you're grateful for. It definitely tastes sweeter.
Thank you for being a friend.